it's completely obvious that the economic situation in Iran is not good. But the important issue is that we face the biggest and strongest sanction package that any country faces. So I think we have not to forget the impact of sanction. Iran could defeat Israeli regime and its allies in 12-day war. That was a really big military operation that happened against Iranian people.
Protests in Iran have taken a very, very serious turn. There are reports of scores of civilians dead, as also police in Iran. But how is this really going to go from here? What's the role of the United States of America as being claimed by Iranian authorities? To discuss this and more, I'm being joined by Elham Abedini. She's a senior journalist from Iran based out of Tehran. Ilham, thank you so much for joining me. What is your reading of the economic situation in Iran? People have taken to the streets this time around. It's not about rights, but more to do with the economic situation. Is this a serious threat to the administration?
First of all, thank you for having me. About your first question, the economic situation in Iran, it's completely obvious that the economic situation in Iran is not good. And in the recent years, in the recent round of elections, we've seen that people's expectation was about economic. Actually, all presidential candidates talk about economic situation, how to improve that. So it shows that in Iran, economic situation is not stable, it's not good. And we face inflation in our country. But the important issue is that we face the biggest and strongest sanction package that any country faces. So I think we have not to forget the impact of sanction and what we are seeing now in our economic situation. Absolutely, there are some mismanagement, some problems that we have here in Iran's in governing of the countries in economic situation. But I think the key issue is that we have not to forget how much these sanctions had influence at what we've seen here. And this time, after the Iranian government tried to make some changes, amendments on economic situation, in the short term, we would face more economic crisis. But actually, the Iranian government wants to it could improve after that. But now we face this economic crisis, and even at first in this roundup, I have to call it riots and terrorist attacks. At first, it was some kind of economic protest, and almost all protesters in the early days was people who work in bazaar, in markets, and they had protested that the inflation is so high and the prices are not stable. But and this is obvious that there are economic issues
right
in Iran.
Right, Ilham, the government is in catch-22 situation. If they act against the protesters, US says it'll come after them, and that's a promise made by none other than President Trump. If not, they could threaten their existence. Trump has already threatened action. In such a scenario, what happens to Iran, to the regime, to the people?
Actually, I think about Donald Trump and what he wrote or what he done. Uh, there are many experiences, there are many events that we can judge about him and this. For instance, the latest step that he took, he just go on Venezuela and kidnap the legitimate president of there and abducted him. Or on the other case, we've seen the United States make some reward for Jolani and name him as a terrorist. But now he go on White House, just shake hands with Donald Trump, and also there are many, many other events, even about Iran. We know that Iran was on the actually meetings on nuclear issues, and it was discussing with the United States. But during the talks, the United States support Israeli regime and they attacked Iran. So I want to mention that we cannot rely on Donald Trump actually votes or claims against Iran or even in support of Iran if it claims. Because there are many things that Donald Trump says something, and after just some days, it did completely vice versa the things. This is the first issue. But the second issue is about what is claimed about Iran. I want to clarify that the United States try to save Israel and Israel's strengths in that region. And if they think that they need to launch a war against Lebanon, against Syria, against any other country, including Iran, they would do that. And all of these issues are just kind of excuses, or they would use some kind of red flags operation to do that. So I want to mention that it all are some excuses. It just depends on the situation of Israel and how they can preserve their interest in the region and actually keep Israeli alive in the region. So I completely deny that Donald Trump used any what is called law, because the Donald Trump shows that how much it's actually neglect and ignore international law. So this time it cannot. Actually, he cannot claim that I want to because of that international law, I want to attack on Iran, because everybody knows that Donald Trump is not the person who can talk about international law. So I just want to another time clarify that it just making excuses to help Israelis' actions in the region.
Iran is a country that has faced sanctions for decades, for years. Why has the economic crisis become so severe this time around?
as I mentioned before, we face economic crisis in Iran. There are inflation here, and just actually the exchange currency, that dollar prices show that how much we face this problem in Iran. And there are many factors that in the recent years deeper this crisis. There are some international elements such as coronavirus pandemic that impacts on many countries and many markets all around the world. And also these kind of international economic issues that face many countries, the economic crisis. Even we've seen in many Western countries, they face economic issues considering their own situation. But the important issue that we should not forget is about international sanctions against Iran and how much it is strong against Iran, and even the recent months, it's became more and more actually strong. So I think what make Iran's situation more more in puts Iran more in crisis is these factors, and also we face the hugest, the biggest war, hybrid war that any other countries face. Since I'm actually studying international relations, and I'm studying on what's in history happened in different countries and international relations. I can say that how much Iran is facing hybrid war, and this is include military war. We faced 12 war that Israeli and the United States and all their allies against Iran, and how much this war impose economic cost on Iran. And also there are many TV channels, radio channels, websites, social media channels that funded by the US and some countries that try to actually make problem for Iran, and also Israeli regime try to fund many of these channels, and also even their agents who are active in social media, in websites, in TV channels. So all of these issues, I think, had, besides all mismanagement that we face in Iran, but these make these crisis and situation worse.
Iran is critical, Ilham, when it comes to regional stability and security. Will Iran's allies such as China and Russia, will they come to Iran's rescue or not?
About China and Russia or any other countries that are allied with Iran, I have to mention that Iran could defeat Israeli regime and its allies in 12-day war. That was a really big military operation that happened against Iranian people. And Iran could manage that. Absolutely, there was economic cost, and there are many, unfortunately, about more than 1,000 people in Iran killed by Israeli regime because of that 12-day bombardment. But at the final step, we've seen that the United States and Israeli regime try to make ceasefire. And during that time, China, we didn't get any help from China or Russia or any other country. So we do not expect any country to do anything more than mutual cooperation to rescue us. And we could manage our domestic issues. But we were sure that countries, especially in the actually south of the world, and developing countries, and also Russia, China, and even India, that are rising power, they had to help each other to confront the hegemon of the United States, and all plotted and sabotaged that the United States and its allies try to do to confront the rising power of these countries. So we think that if these countries help Iran, I don't want to say help, but if they cooperate with Iran, this is actually for the interest of themselves as well, because this is a new world order, and if we want to get a better position in this new world order, we have to enhance our cooperation.
What happens to regional stability? And is this Trump keeping his promise to Netanyahu? We know that Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Trump had a meeting at Mar-a-Lago over New Year's. Is this a promise? Is this America keeping keeping its promise to Israel and ensuring security of Israel?
I think that the stability in the region is not the thing that is in interest of the United States and Israeli regime, especially. Maybe at the first glance, we think that if, for instance, the stability in Turkey or in Emirates, in Saudi Arabia would be in the interest of Israeli regime, or in the United States because they have actually economic and trade cooperation with each other. This is something that is just for the first glance. The more important issue is that Israeli regime and its allies, especially in actually the United States, they have interest in the military and weapon rally between all countries in the west of Asia. So it's good for them to make problems and crises between the countries in the west of Asia, and this is in their interest. So I suppose Donald Trump or any president in the White House, they would not actually seek for stability in west of Asia, because Israeli regime interest is in stability of these countries and this region.
India, it says, is monitoring the situation very, very closely, Ilham. Iran is a very important historical partner, but also has investments in Iran, such as the Chabahar port. What would Iran's expectations from India be?
as I mentioned before, I think that uh, Iran do not expect any country to help it without considering its own interests. About India, there are many mutual agreements between Iran and India, for instance, about our port. But on the other hand, we have other cooperation between Iran and India, uh, considering Shanghai Organization or the most important organization, BRICS. So I think if India that faced the biggest trade war that the United States launched against India in this government, if India want to get better position in the new world order and confront the U.S. hegemony and confront what it did, especially economically against different countries such as India, the best way and if I say the simplest way is enhance its cooperation with the countries in these rising power of new world orders, such as Iran, such as China, such as Russia.
You're in Tehran. We're looking at a blockade of internet, civilians killed. Will this not, or is this not straining the administration a lot? That there's a lot of stress and strain and pressure on the regime?
There are many footages, many videos that shows armed terrorists shooting against civilians, especially in 8th January. That was Thursday, 8th January, and in that night, there were many armed terrorists, and they tried to kill civilians and said Iranian government and Iranian police killed them. But now this footage just completely shows that how much they plotted a scenario to kill civilians. So I think the most important issue now is that who fund these terrorists, these armed terrorists, how they could actually fund these guns and weapons and bring inside of Iran. And as Iran's Ministry of Foreign Affairs mentioned, there are many evidences shows how Mossad and CIA back these armed terrorists, and how these armed terrorists divert economic protests to terrorist attacks and huge riots, and how they killed civilians. We've seen just 3-year-old girl who killed at the hand of his father by these armed terrorists. We've seen a nurse, a woman who was nurse, and they set her fire alive. And these are not terrorist attacks, these are terrorist attacks. So I think 8th January was exactly the same. The 11th September happened in the United States. If we say that was a terrorist attack, these attacks and events happened, especially in 8th January, all around the country was terrorist attacks. And actually, international society and all countries have to mentioned that it was terrorist attacks, and footages are completely obvious that these were terrorist attacks against Iranian civilians. I myself seen that people try to get in home before it get dark, and there was a huge traffic jam about 5 p.m., 6 p.m. because people was so afraid of these terrorist attacks. They afraid that these armed terrorists shoot them, because they see the many footages that how they do that.
We saw the protests in 2022 after Mahsa Amini's death. The hijab controversy certainly is no longer on the forefront for the administration, because these protests are more economic in nature and less to do with rights. But it's the economic issues that are more important when it comes to people not getting their basic necessities. They're gaining ground. What's your reading on the fact that it is no longer just about rights, but more about life itself, basic necessities?
Absolutely, there are dissatisfaction between Iranian people in economic issues and different issues. There are many dissatisfactions here, but the important issue is that these are all just domestic issues and internal issues that we in Iran have to manage that, and no other countries cannot help us. We've seen the latest example of foreign involvement in domestic issues of other countries. Just seeing what's happened in Libya, what's happened in Sudan, what's happened in many countries. We've seen that now. We've seen the consequence of those foreign involvement. What happened in Afghanistan, what happened in Iraq. Still they face disability. Still they face many crises. And that was directly because of the foreign interference, including coup, including military operations and different issues.
Elham Abedini, thank you so much for joining us. Things are looking a little tense in Iran, particularly in Tehran as well. So stay safe. We'll try connecting with you as and when you can. We know that internet is a problem, and connecting with you has been a real tough task. But only hoping that you and your family are safe. Thank you.